Hello guys and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm here with Takopi's Original Sin, episode number 6 reaction, and this is the final episode of this show. Okay, so yeah, in the previous episode, such a thing happened, such a twist like came that I genuinely was kind of like surprised. I was not expecting something like that. So apparently Takopi knew Marina in like before, and since he went back in time to fix her situation, he lost his memory, and in this new run he met Shizuka. So in when he was with Marina, he was empathized with Marina, and he decided to go back to the past and take out Shizuka. And then coming to the past, he forgot everything and then empathized with Shizuka, and now all the memories are back. So that was a very interesting twist, which I never would have seen coming. Now he doesn't know what to do. So let's see. In the end, we see Azuma coming in this direction. So let's see what happens. Let us begin. I'll be putting the subtitles and the timer here. Sync it to whichever is your preference. Let's begin. Okay, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, this is minus past. Okay, so this is when her father was still here. Chappie was so small. Wait, what? Okay, never mind. I was gonna say, was that Takopi? Like, because his um rocket crashed, but then I thought, like, no, that's not possible because she's she's young here. Shizuka. Takopi never came in this era. Like, the era that Takopi came was when Marina and Shizuka were adults, almost, not adults, maybe like teenagers. And then he went back even more. Yeah, so okay. Right, here we go. uh, mm. Wait, are they leaving this place? Yeah, they'll probably be relocating. Oh, okay, no, it's not relocation. It's just. Mm. Yep. Yeah. Like there's no concrete. Damn. Wait, what? Wait, did he fix? Wait, what happened? Wait, he's talking about the glasses? Yeah. Oh yeah, the whole there you go. Well, damn, it's just waiting. Two younger Smith daughters. Uh, oh, oh boy. Oh god. Yeah. Damn. Okay, so her mom doesn't. Mm. The PP noises. Mm. Mm. Oh, damn. Okay. But didn't this break? Okay. Oh, wait. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, okay, I was wondering, her memory got resetted, obviously. But like, but won't like the same things happen again? Like, oh, oh, so wait. Oh, there you go. He said that he told his brother. Yeah, PS4. Right. Yeah, so went back in time, but the results of all the other runs still persist in the characters' hearts, even though they don't have clear memory of it. But it's just something in the Oh, yeah. Hmm. Right. Yeah, interesting. You know what? That again surprised me because the ending was. You know what? I was kind of correct. I think in the previous episode I said that Takopi will probably go back and use the clock again. It didn't happen exactly like that, but he did go back in time again, in one way or the other. So that part I was correct. But from that point onwards, I wasn't expecting this. I remember saying in the previous episode that even if he goes back, what then? No clue what he'll do to fix everything. And yeah, never did I think that the final episode will be that, yeah, he goes back in time, but he doesn't fix anything. That is like the last thing I would have thought about being the ending. And you know what? This is extremely realistic, I guess you could say, because a lot of these things. Okay. Oh, Chappie. Oh yeah, because she never. So Chappie never attacked her. Bruh. Wait. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. So yeah, like I was saying, um, in the previous episode, I said that I thought like I shared what I thought was going to happen. I thought that Takuya is going to go back to his planet and use the clock and then go back. It didn't happen exactly like that. However, it did kind of go in that direction where basically Takopi used the camera and went back. But from that point onwards, there's a lot of things I was thinking. I was thinking like if he goes back in time, he'll maybe try to fix it or do something. But the answer I didn't really have. I was seriously thinking like, what the hell can Takopi do to fix everything? Like because to fix the situation of the kids, he has to fix everything, which starts from the families. So like Mina's family, Shizuka's family, Azuma's family, and that has a lot of other trouble going on. So there's like plethora of problems behind the misfortune of the three kids. So I was thinking like even if Takopi goes back in time, what the hell can this freaking octopus do to change all those familial problems so that that gets reflected and the kids are happy? Because unless and until you fix that, they will never be happy. And yeah, the answer is basically nothing. It's just a small little change which made Marina and Shizuka get closer, and that was all that was needed for they obviously weren't able to make everything like just 100% good, like everything prim and proper, nice, and like no like like no nothing, no problem, nothing. They weren't able to do it like that. Like Takobi wasn't able to create a miracle like that, but he did something which was able to at least make the three kids survive and their life not become a complete hell at the end. And and that was all that was needed. That's very interesting because like watching this final episode kind of made me realize that like usually in anime everything we either expect, again, the true extremes of an ending. Either it's going to be sad or it's going to be happy, you know but and sometimes bittersweet maybe. But bittersweet is also like a type of happy plus sad kind of thing. But I never expected an ending where it will be that, oh, the bare minimum that is required for them to at least get along and have a future, at least. You know, like I never expected that in an ending. And that is very, I don't know, like that's very interesting because I don't think I've ever seen a show like this before where the ending is basically that, oh, I'm not an omnipotent god, and like the ending won't be happily ever after, but I'll make sure to do something which at least makes the situation better, you know than that's going on. That is basically this ending, you know and that's very interesting for an ending because, like I said, it's usually one of the extremes, or sometimes like a little bit bittersweet, this and that, but never something like this, I guess. In a way, it was a happy ending, but at the same time, like, even though it's a happy ending, they have still have their problems in their lives. It's just that they have people to lean on now. I think I said this in the previous episode as well. Like, I said that there was only one exception, which was Azuma, because Azuma had his brother to lean on. Mina and Shizuka had literally no one in their family to lean on. You know, so since their family is absolutely like just completely, what can I say? They're just hopeless. Um, he Azuma can at least lean on his brother, and depend on him. Who are these two going to depend on? And like, interestingly enough, we got the answer today. It's each other. They can lean on each other, which is something yeah, I guess I never thought about. Like, because I was thinking like, oh, how are they going to fix the family situation? What can a octopus do? This octopus doesn't even understand human emotions. What can he do to fix all the families so that the kids could be happy? Yeah, he cannot do anything. That's the realistic way, like they could have like went in this, and that's the most realistic way they could have done this. Like, yeah, he cannot do anything. What can he do to fix the family? Nothing. He's powerless as much as everyone, you know like. But what he can do is at least make these two, who have literally no one that they can lean on, connect. And he did that by being a part of both their lives in two different runs, one in the present, like, one in the past, kind of, like one with mine and one with her. So he became like the common point in their memory, so that when that memory got triggered, they could, I guess, empathize about something and kind of connect with something, which was able to make their animosity go away. And little by little, they drew closer, and they finally had a friend to lean on. So, family month's situation is bad. She's still probably, as she says, goes back to her house, and I think they mentioned that her mother doesn't come home or something like that. I don't know. Same with Mina's mother as well. So those are still there. Those are still, like, problems are still there. But now, instead of going through all of those alone by themselves, they can at least, I guess, share that pain, and like, have someone to kind of support and move together. Obviously, Azuma has his brother, so he's fine. He's not fine, but he will be okay. But these two had the most difficult situation, but because they had nobody. But they had themselves, I guess. um that's, like, yeah, that's very interesting. Like, I did think maybe they were going to sacrifice Takopi at the end, but I never thought that the conclusion would be something like this. Like, yeah, like, I also did kind of think maybe they were going to make Shizuka and Mina friends, because the opening blatantly shows that. Let's look at the opening. They blatantly show that. But again, like, the one unexpected thing that I never would have ever expected is the fact that the ending will not be like, oh, everything is okay, kind of. Like I was constantly thinking, like, what can they do to make everything okay? Like that's immediately where my head went in the previous episode, where I was like, all right, so Mina's also part of this whole thing, so they'll probably try to save Mina as well. So what can Takopi do to make all their problems vanish? Because that's how we expect endings to go, right? If it's a happy ending, everything will be okay, people live happily ever after, everything is fine, you know. And if it's a sad ending, it's just sad. As soon as I saw the previous episode that they were including mine in this as well, I was like, all right, this probably won't have a sad ending, so I can just put that aside. um so all that is left is like a happy ending. So for a happy ending to reach a happy ending, they need to make everything okay. How the hell are they going to do that? I never thought that they were going to take this approach. This is the one thing that I was not expecting at all. The approach that they took to reach an ending, which is obviously not everything is okay, but some things are okay, which is more than enough for these two to at least keep moving in their life. And like the thing is, like they'll all only have these problems up until a certain age, because once they become adults, you know they can distance themselves from their families. you know like their families cannot like involve them in their nonsense, like in their own like thing, and then their own, like, they cannot do anything. So as soon as they reach a certain age, they become adults, they can literally cut themselves off from them, and then maybe live like an independent life themselves. And the only thing is that they have to like continue on their life through this pain, you know up until a certain age. And both of them have each other to do that. And when they become adults, they'll be fine, they will be able to take care of themselves, and nobody can just hit them, or like how Mina's mother like hits her at home and all that. Shizuka's mother literally doesn't even care about her. So they will not have to go through any of that once they reach a certain age where they can be independent, and they can like do their own thing. So up until that time, they have each other to look out for, and that will at least ease the pain of walking this journey. Up until now they were walking this journey alone. Now they have someone to lean on. Right. Yeah. And so there you go. That was the ending. Right. Yeah, you know what? That is a very interesting ending, I would say. Like, uh, and a lot of the episodes really surprised me, because I never expected a lot of things to happen. Like, obviously, the whole situation with Takopi already knowing Marina in the previous run, that was one of the biggest surprise in the previous episode. I was not expecting that. That came out of nowhere. This episode, the way it ended, that was also a big surprise. Also, I think it was episode 2, or was it episode 3, but Takopi ended up just hitting, like mine, and mine just dying. That was also a big surprise. I was not expecting that either. So these like 3 or 4 things like just completely caught me off guard, because like the thing is, I've watched a lot of animes, like a lot. So I can kind of see a pattern in which direction the story is going. Whenever a certain few things starts clicking into place, I can automatically kind of envision, like, oh, this is probably going to go like that, this you know so this completely, like that, this like the way this went, like a lot of these things that I thought was going to happen, it just got changed in such a different way that I was very much surprised. And I will say that is very good, because that means that this show was very unique. Like the way it kind of portrayed everything, and the way it kind of ended. That is very good. Right. Also, it was a very short story, 6 episodes only. A short but a very meaningful and a happy, not happy. I think I was gonna say a happy story. What the hell? It's not happy at all. But a meaningful and um, what can I say? Yeah, a meaningful story. A very very like a story where it shows like both sides of the like thing that is going, like Marina, Shizuka, and yeah. Now, obviously, in today's episode, Takopi sacrificed himself, as you saw in the end. Um, but his, like, memory kind of was there in the other characters' like memories. Takopi was still there, which is the reason why Marina and Shizuka were able to connect later on. Um, so also, Azuma was also able to kind of remember what Takopi, he told Takopi that, oh, tell my brother, tell me to have, like, fight more with my brother and connect in that way. That's why you can see, like, here at the end, he says that, oh, like, I had a fight with my brother, like he can't even play a proper game. And yeah, that means, that shows that things did change for the better. um like, instead of just staying at a distance and not interacting with his brother and just distancing himself from his family, um he talked with his brother, fought with his brother, and now, they're more open with each other, um which was all that was required. um yeah, and obviously for Maina and Shizuka, it was like the presence of Takopi in their lives which kind of triggered something in them, and they kind of had like residual memories. So, yeah, they just, like, they kind of connected at that and kind of bonded at that. um Now, this is very interesting because, if you think about it, like, in a more if you think about it more logically, like, when you go back in time, you are not going back to the same you. Like, this is something that, like, a lot of the um a lot of shows, a lot of, like, like, stories kind of show this, where when you go back in time or go forward into the future or something, obviously, like, you can go back, but then if you change something, it branches off. Like, it branches off into a parallel world, because obviously the original world that you were in, is, it goes in a certain direction. So you go back and change something and, like, do something else, it goes in a different direction, so it's a parallel, it's a different you. So Takopi being in the memory collectively, it was immediately a branch. And so I would say, like, Shizuka and Marina, this Shizuka and Marina was a different, like, worlds, parallel worlds version of Shizuka and Marina, you know. So, but the thing is, like, uh, you can see that their memories of each other, at least not each other, but Takopi's memories of Takopi, was something that they shared amongst each other. Because, like, the Shizuka and the Marina that met Takopi, both of them were in different parallel worlds, if you think about it, right? Because just like, in Marina's run, Marina, like, in the end kills her mother and then takes her life. If you remember, she kind of used the glass to take her own life as well. So that is that version Marina, you know. So that version Marina spent the most time with Takopi. So her memory is from there, like, memory of Takopi. In Shizuka's version, which is this version that we saw up until the very end, Shizuka, like, interacts with Takopi the most. And here all the changes that happens, like, that is because of, like things that Shizuka did, things that Takopi did, which changed, like, Shizuka's course of life. So that is something else. This version that we see at the end, here everything is different. Here both Shizuka and Marina are friends, or become friends little by little. Chappie is still alive, because obviously, like, Chappie only got taken because Chappie attacked Marina, because Marina was attacking Shizuka. So since Marina never attacks Shizuka this time, because they become friends, Chappie never attacks Marina, and Chappie is fine. So this version, this is what is going on here. So this is a different Shizuka and different Marina and different Chappie, but they have memories from the other, like, thing. So it's kind of like that. Obviously, there's not really any kind of scientific, like, like, thing or whatever. This is just science fiction. Um, but I think I said this in the previous episode as well. Um, yeah, this is. I feel like this is very much Steins Gate kind of, like, style, where, like, in a similar way, at the end of Steins Gate, it is revealed that apparently all the timelines that Rintaro goes through, all those memories, they kind of persist in other people as well. Like Okabe had the reading Steiner, so he could remember everything, but other people weren't able to remember it. But it was revealed at the end that, yeah, other people can also remember it, but in a very vague manner, which got kind of like expressed at the very end. This is basically that. This is basically reading Steiner, kind of, kind of coming out and realizing that, oh yeah, like these memories that happened in all these other, like, worlds, they still persist. Like they kind of like it's there in them, you know, kind of like that. So yeah, obviously there's no proper answer to it, but it's just like something pretty cool and pretty nice that, oh, they remember everything. They remember about Takopi, even though Takopi doesn't exist here anymore. Um, right. But yeah, Takopi's sacrifice. I did kind of expect something like this happening in the previous episode. I thought that there is a high possibility they'll probably sacrifice Takopi, so it wasn't really a big surprise. But yeah, it was pretty sad. Like, and I have to say, today's episode, it was very sad. Today's episode was very sad, especially like, like Shizuka, first Takopi waiting for Shizuka, and then Shizuka, like telling Takopi, like, what the hell am I supposed to do? Like, nobody believes me, nobody like talks to me, nobody like listens to me, and like he now, this part is also very interesting because I thought of something here when Shizuka was saying that, oh, nobody listens to me, nobody like, properly tries to understand me, and he was hitting her. I was thinking like, oh, but Takopi, like, listens to you, Takopi understands you, and you know and then when Takpi says that, I'm sorry, Shizuka-san, I never listened to you, I never like tried to understand you, I was like, oh yeah, he's right. Like, she, it is true. Like, yeah, you can say that it was not that he's deliberately trying not to listen to her or understand her. Takopi's values are very different because where he comes from, there's a completely different set of emotions that people go through. All the octopuses go through is happiness. So they interpret everything in that rosy, like, like way, like, oh, everything is fine, everything is okay. That's why he never listened properly or never even understood what Shizuka was trying to like kind of explain or what was happening with Shizuka. So he she is right. Nobody actually listened to her up until now because even Takopi never listened to her. Like, and I guess that is why you could say that up until the very end when Takopi actually admits that, yeah, I'm sorry, I never tried to understand you or listen to you, like from that point onwards Takopi and Mina kind of bonds, because up until now they did kind of work together and like, like kind of, were friends, but not to this degree from here this point onwards that we see, because this time Takopi actually tries to understand Shizuka. Like, because yeah, when that part was happening, when she was hitting Takopi, I was thinking like, but Takopi, Takopi was the only exception, right? He listened to you, he talked to you, he tried to understand you. No, actually, if you think about it, he didn't. Like, it's just that his way of life is so different, and his culture in his planet is so different that it was impossible for him to even understand what Shizuka was saying. So Shizuka was technically right. Nobody listened to her, not even Takopi, up until that point, or nobody tried to understand her. You know. So yeah. Either way, where was I? I kind of went on a tangent. I was talking about like the sad part. Like, yeah, that part was pretty sad. I think like the saddest part in today's episode was that section where from we kind of see Shizuka and Takopi like walking and just going through different places, then like sleeping in the woods, waiting in the bus stop, uh, then there was this bread, like like bakery. She wanted to eat something, but they didn't have any money. There was this one page where she had like a 500 yen coin. All that she could get from that is I think like just like a normal bread, right? Let me check. Oh no, she spent the bare minimum. Like I think she spent like, how much did she spend? There's 300 yen coins and 110 yen. Okay, so she spent 90 yen or something like that. She spent the bare minimum and got the cheapest option that was available, which is probably plain bread. Yeah, two plain bread she got. Because that bakery was like, they had like a lot of fancy cakes and everything, but she got like the bare minimum that she could get. Obviously, she had to survive with that little amount of money. Yeah, that part was very sad, like seeing her scraping for money and then like using that. Then Takopi was trying to cut her hair because her hair is growing long. um and then both of them like punching each other at sleep. Yeah, I think this part was the saddest because I don't know, like they weren't like any dialogue or anything, but like the mere visuals and the way they kind of portrayed that part kind of very much, like highlighted her loneliness and the fact that both of them are just alone in a very good manner at that part. Yeah. And obviously Takopi disappearing was also sad, but I feel like that part, at least to me, that part was the saddest because it showed very well, like, I don't know, like the fact that they were all alone, just wandering around, like, yeah. Right. And like when Takopi disappeared, I was thinking like, how is everything going to get fixed? Not everything, but I was trying to think like, what different is going to happen this round? Because Takopi is gone now. Like everything was going to just continue like the way it was. But then we saw like Takopi's memory was still in other people, everyone. So they changed. They changed in the way of interacting with. Maina became a lot more like, like she certain situations kind of triggered her memory and she was like getting surprised and she was like confused. And then everything kind of changed when she saw the doodle of Takopi. And she's like, what the hell? Like, what is that? Like, you drew that? And she's goes like, oh, it's just something that reminded me. And then she's like, oh yeah, this thing reminds me of like a completely useless blob of octopus and like all that stuff. And then Shizuka says something about Takopi. She says something again Takopi. And it's like a common connection. And yeah, there you go. And that's where everything changed. From that point onwards, things didn't go exactly okay, not a smooth run completely, not everything became okay, no miracle happened, but these two at least were able to find a friend in each other. Here we go, like none of you are alone anymore. Because yeah, Azuma is also not alone because Azuma has his brother. I hope you all reach adulthood together. Yeah, and like I said, that is all that is needed because as soon as they become adults, they like their parents can screw themselves, do whatever the hell they like. Yeah, I have no empathy for any of these parents, not even Mina's mother. Mina's mother was definitely a victim, but as soon as she started abusing Mina, all my empathy went out the window. She deserved. I do not like any of the adults in this show. Absolute garbage. Like seriously, every single one of them is garbage. Like every single one of them. Is there any adult in this show that is okay? No, I don't think so. Like obviously the parents, each of them are like one way or the other, like like varying degrees of like being absolute garbage. You know, I think like at the top of it is Mina's mother. I hate Mina's mother so much. She's the top. Oh god. And then and you know what? Surprising, I would probably put Azuma's mom after that. Not Shizuka's mother, Azuma's mother. Because Azuma's mother, like, who the hell talks like that with their child and compares their children like that? And, like, that is so bad. Like, yeah, so number two is Azuma's mother, then I guess, um, no, you know what? No, 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 no. Number one, Mayuna's mother. Number two, Mayuna's father. I'm putting Mayuna's mother first because, like I said, I absolutely hate the fact that she became like that. Like the fact that she turned on her own daughter like that. You know, I'm putting her first. And then her dad, and then like Azma's mother. Um, we don't really know anything about Azma's father, so I cannot really say anything about that. Um, then Shizuka's mother, yeah, maybe. Again, I feel like Shizuka's mom and dad, their situation, we don't really know much. They weren't really clear about what exactly happened with them. All we saw that they were quarreling at the beginning of today's episode, and that's it, right? So, who was at fault? What happened? We don't really know. Yeah, both of them were like fighting and everything. And then I guess the father left. So, I cannot really rank them because of that, because we don't really know who's more crappier than the other. But obviously, yeah, I cannot really judge them because we don't really know much about them. So both of them are at the bottom at least together. So yeah, I hate Mina's mother the most, then the father. Oh, and obviously, honorable mentions the homeroom teacher. We barely saw her, but we did see her sometimes. She didn't care about anything. It's literally seeing a student getting like so much like like markings on their tables. The whole bag is torn apart. The dress is dirty. There are bruises, and you literally act on like nothing is happening every single day without like question. So yeah, she's also trash. So there you go. Everyone is trash in this show. All the adults. Right. Yeah, there you go. So that is like like again, you know what? I guess it's fine because like I said in the previous episode, I was saying like I was under the impression they were going to do something where everything becomes okay, everything is happily ever after, their family is fixed. I was thinking something like that. But now that I've seen the ending and see how that those familial situation never gets resolved, I'm fine with this because I would have been very pissed if they went in a direction where everything becomes okay and everything is happily ever after and they're like good family again. I would actually be very pissed at least at the parents because it would mean that they got like they did not get what they deserved. I think these parents deserve something like like some kind of like not deserve something, but at least I wanted like an apology from them or something. Something to like that at least makes us understand that oh they realize that they were at fault and they at least apologize. So the fact that it didn't win a happily ever after direction kind of, you know, like kind of takes that whole part out. So I'm completely fine with this because they kind of keep the whole situation with their parents very vague. They don't really say what exactly happened to them. In the end, Mina does mention a little bit about their parents. Here we go, this part. So they go to this shop and they're like I think teenagers or something. So Mina says, so like it's gonna be rough for my mommy today, so I'll buy her some cakes. Oh no, Mina says that. Okay. And she's gonna say, your mom has it rough every day, Mina-chan. And whose fault is that? Better than your parents? Okay. Yeah, so there you go. So it means that everything is just going like it goes. Like, I'm assuming at least Mina's mother has stopped with the violence because, she's a teenager now. So, I don't know. Um, yeah, and Shizuka's mother doesn't even care. So, yeah. Right. So that was just like that. So I'm completely fine with that. Like yeah. But there you go. Like Shizuka and Marina are now friends, and that's all that matters. Oh, I completely forgot. I not forgot, but I didn't really talk much about the beginning where it was Azuma who kind of helped Takopi kind of understand. Again, like I said, like I think I said in the previous episode that since Azuma is here, Azuma will probably be able to tell Takopi about how everything is not either good or bad. There's mixture in people. Like there's not just like extreme good, extreme bad. There's like this middle gray part as well. and a mixture of those two in different people. And that's exactly what he told him, and made Takopi realize that. Because Takopi was like, I don't understand anything here in this planet. Like Shimaina-chan was good, and I thought Shizuka-chan was bad, but then I talked with Shizuka-chan, and Shizuka-chan gave me bread, so Shizuka-chan is also good. But Shizuka-chan is supposed to be bad, and then Maina-chan is bad here. So what is happening? And Asma's like, bruh, like, like he's like, you stupid octopus, you don't understand. Like, every people have parts of those good bad things. It's a mixture. Not, you won't find a person who's like just good or just bad. There's mixture to everyone. And it's a collection of all of these. So yeah, he was the one who, I guess, like, I think Takopi himself would have realized little by little, but Azuma kind of completely made it clear to him. Right. Yeah, and that was very helpful at the beginning. And that's how Takopi was able to kind of connect with Shizuka later. And when Shizuka was like, nobody listens to me, Takopi was like, yeah, I'm sorry. Even though I wanted to help you, I also didn't listen to you. So, you were all alone. You still were alone, even though I was there. Because, like, I just talked about what I thought about the situation, not what you're feeling. I just talked about, that is true. He just talked about his, like, what he feels like. Oh, this will make this okay. This is going well. This isn't, like, so with his lack of understanding of the whole situation in itself, it made it even worse. So the decisions he took weren't really that good a lot of the times. So that's why he admits that. He says that, I also didn't listen to you, and I'm sorry for that. Right. Yeah. Okay, and there you go. That was it. I think I talked about most of the stuff um in this episode. And yeah, so there you go. That is it. A great ending. Not great in that sense. Like, like, yeah, like things kind of went. Obviously, it was really good for those two, but not great in the sense that obviously they have still a lot of troubles going on in their family and everything. So not great in that sense, but as a story, this was amazing. This was really good. This was great. Like, like I said, this took a direction which I was not expecting, especially for the ending, because usually it's all either happy or sad, like, oh, happily ever after, everything is okay. And that's what I was thinking. But they really kind of gave us reality, and they were like, there you go. This is an anime, obviously, it's imaginary, but here you go, reality. Not everything works out in real life. Sometimes you have to make compromises, and this is one such compromise. Obviously, they're not having the best of lives, but at least Shizuka and Mine are happy because they are now friends. Like, if they have trouble with something, they can share it with each other and lean on each other. So that is reality. Like, this is usually how reality goes. Like, not everything will be like just like a tip, like, just tip the magic wand and everything is happy. It won't happen. Sometimes there is, like, certain things which you have to compromise on, and try to pick the best path and the happiest path. It might not be, everything might not be happy, but at least pick the one which you want, and, like, try to live a relatively happy life amongst all the troubles that are there. You know, that kind of thing. So yeah, so there you go. That is it. Thank you for watching. That was a great show. 6 episodes, a short show, but a really good one. And yeah, that was amazing. So I'll end this here. Thank you for watching. Obviously, since this is ending, from next week onwards, I will be starting. What was that? I already talked about this before. Fujimoto's new, like, one shots. I think they already got released. All of the animated, like, like, I think there's like how many, 6 or 7 episodes or something. I don't know. What is it called? 17 6 or something. Wait a minute. Fujimoto. 1726. Yep, this one. Excuse me. It has 8 episodes, and it has already finished airing. All of them has been batch, like, like, I think batch released. So every week on this day, like since obviously Takopi has ended, I will do one such episode, react to one such episode. So that will be what will be replacing this. So yeah, thank you for watching. This was my reaction to the final episode of Takopi. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to press the like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel or you haven't subscribed. Comment down below anything you want to say, anything you want to let me know. I'll check them out. That is it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next week with a new show, which is Tatsuki Fujimoto's 1726. Until then, goodbye and have a nice day.